Do you still get excited coming to OTAs and start of it?
Definitely. You know, I think you should, man. It's a kid's game. It's so fun to play this. Craig Robertson always used to tell me that, one of my vets when I got in the league, is it's a kid's game. Never lose that. It's fun. It's a joy to be out here. When I was a kid, I'd draw plays for me and my 3 brothers that were old enough to go play 2-on-2 all day, right? Not basketball, football. So if I can't get pretty excited to go play 11-on-11 and get some of the best in the world, something's wrong.
What's important to get out of this period? Because it's still kind of too early before training camp, but also, you look back at last year, and there's obviously areas you guys want to grow.
Yeah, I think first and foremost is connection. So kind of the first time with this team being around each other. That's the first thing. Second is, there's a lot of areas for self-improvement. This is really a time that you can focus on that. Focus on your own game, what you have to improve on for next year. And I think if everybody does that, and then collectively, all of a sudden, you look a lot better too. That's why the last thing is, as a collective group, you get to know one another. It's awesome, but how are you going to play for one another, and what type of habits you're going to build, and it's important to set that now.
You said connection. How have you seen Mike kind of grow as a leader, as this is really his full season for you guys?
Last year he was already so confident. And last year he already had that swagger about him. I was really excited. I've said this before. I was really excited to have a rookie quarterback in camp, especially because we go 1s versus 2s. Because in my mind that meant a lot of interceptions for me during training camp, and I didn't have one on him last year. And so from the beginning, he's been mature beyond his years, and it's just only compounded this year. He's got that silent swagger to him. He's always going to be ready, and throw some piss missiles, so we're good to go.
How different is that, silent leadership you speak of for a quarterback? Because even Raheem referenced he has a different leadership-esque than most quarterbacks do. I've been around a lot of great leaders. Normally, quarterbacks are extremely vocal, and he's been vocal before, so I'm not saying he doesn't have that in him. But at the end of the day, just when he has that demeanor about him, it's just a swagger that he brings to the team. Do-Rag Mike's ready to roll, and so we're all ready to roll.
I know it's still early, but what are your impressions on Jalen?
Man, he's explosive. It's one of I haven't been an individual with him, sadly. I'm inside. He's been with the outside guys, but every time Coach pulls up one of his clips from individual, it's like, dang, he's explosive. And then today I saw it a few times in our team reps. I know it wasn't full pass rush, not allowed to fully go, but darn it, that man's his get off is nice. So I'm excited about him.
You're at an age where a lot of guys are what they are and are just trying to maintain that. Do you feel like you're still evolving the way that you play? Is that accurate?
100%. Yes, I do.
Why is that, and I guess why is that?
Yeah. I think first and foremost it goes back to, the why. Why do you play the game? Why do you do what you do? Why do you live life? And for me, first off, it's for Jesus. And he tells me to do everything as though I'm working for the Lord and not for man. So although man may be satisfied, I don't believe he is. And I know he's got more plans for me, not just in football, but in life. And so I think that permeates in every part of my life. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. You can find a lot of flaws in that argument for my lifestyle, but at the same time, I'm striving for that every single day. And then I've had some really good examples. My dad as a man, from when I was young to where he is now, has grown tremendously in front of my eyes, and I want to emulate that in every area of my life. And another guy's Demario Davis. He always talked about his bag. He always talked about adding to his bag every offseason. You see it in basketball all the time, right? These guys continue to add different aspects to the game. There's no reason a football player can't do that. Demario showed me that. I kind of caught on, mid to late of his career. I think year 6 his year 6 was my first year with him, and hearing the player he was to the player he had become, and then continuing to watch the player he has continued to grow into be. It's something that I've got a very close behind the scene. Got to just kind of watch it, and now it's something that I'm also trying to emulate that as well. Just continue to add to my bag.
What did you add last year? What do you think, or what's your most recent addition, and then what's the next?
For me, it's really been honing in on the techniques and the skills I use. I love last year, and we'll see how Brick wants to use me this year, but last year I got to be used in a lot of different ways. The awesome part about that is I can do a lot of fun things in the football field. The negatives, I might be using the most techniques out of anybody else on the field in one game. And so, these other guys are getting to work the same thing on repetition. I'm pass rushing, I'm man covering, I'm zone covering, I'm playing the run. There's different things that I got to do. So for me, this offseason was, all right, I know what I do well, I know how I do it, I know how I'm going to be used, at least in some regard. How do I sharpen it so that I'm just as good as someone that just does one job? You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was really, I didn't try to get much faster, I didn't try to get much stronger, I tried to maintain everything in that regard. But, mentally, yeah, I continue to grow, but really technique. How do you become sharper? Not just a jack of all trades, but a master of all of them.
Do you still consider yourself an edge rusher at heart? Is that still your
I'll always consider
identity?
myself at heart. Always.
Yeah.
Yep.